Hello everybody, Kyle here with more Shadowverse content. It is kind of early in the morning, so I'm going to be a little quieter than normal today. At least I'm going to try to be. So a bunch of exciting news to talk about. Well, first, sorry for not making a video yesterday. I've had a couple of interesting timed shifts at work that made it hard for me to record because by the time I got home from one, I had to go to sleep to go to the next one, and it really prevented me from making a video. But also, the little bit of free time I did have, I got a request specifically for Control Blood, and I've always liked the idea of Control Blood. It looks like what I want. Lots of big stuff. I was actually surprised to see the Control Blood seem to have the most top end out of all the control decks. And you know me, I love me some big top end on a deck. So I'm pretty excited about this. I still haven't gotten the starter decks for Blood, so I don't have the fancy alternate art Queen Vampires. Because I'm pretty sure that's what you get in the Control Blood, or not Control, wow. In the Bloodcraft starter decks. Oh, man. But, yeah. So, I personally don't like to net deck. Nothing against net decking. Maybe in a different video I'll talk about my opinion on net decking. It's obviously not a bad thing. Just as the type of deck builder I am, I prefer not to. So how this deck started was me just putting a deck together myself, looking at the Bloodcraft cards and some neutral cards. Like, I feel like Unicorn Dancer, obviously, for playing controls, like always gonna be there. And then I played the deck on casual just to make sure it was sound. And it did okay. Casual or unranked, I guess, is what I should say, is pretty awesome because you run into a lot of people who are kind of doing the same thing. Like, it doesn't really feel like you're running into bad players, or people that are just don't have anything. It feels like you're running into other people that are also just trying to learn how to play decks. And the deck had a few flaws, so I looked at some lists. I looked at a couple. I can't remember who they were by. Sorry about that. I'm trying to not yawn and cut the yawns out because I did just wake up from like a little bit of a nap. Today I'm working 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. so I was trying not to nap so I could just get some sleep before I went in tonight for work, but I ended up falling asleep for a little bit, so it's kind of been a problem because I need to take another nap, but that doesn't matter in the video. So I looked at a few lists and I adopted some ideas that they had, but I tried to get my own spin on it, and I have a list now that I'm pretty happy with. I generally like to play a deck and work on it before I make a video. I want it to get to the point where I play it on ladder and its win rate is decently high. Usually I want to get like a win streak with it or something. I know that getting a win streak isn't always possible, but I just once it can like streak, I'm like, okay, this deck's pretty good. I feel comfortable making a video on it. So this deck's doing well. I've only lost one game with it on actual ladder, but again, I haven't played it very much because I like to make these videos early on. It's mainly been played on unranked until just a couple hours ago. But I'm going to go through the deck real quick. And if the deck continues to be successful, I'll do a full deck tech on it. But we got Unica, the Demonic Hedonist Vampiric Kisses for our 2-drops. We have the Vite Vampire Noble and Sadistic Knights, as well as Dire Bonds for our 3s. Dire Bond is a sick card, by the way, just real quick. Being a player who comes from Magic, this reminds me very much of the 3-mana enchantment Phyrexian Arena, in which at the beginning of each of your turns you take 1 damage and draw an extra card. Technically for this one, you take more damage per card. You take 2 per card if you get to draw all 3. And usually, unless you're fighting Rune, you get to. There's runes sometimes. Does the petrification, I think it's called, on it. But I don't run into that very often. But regardless, but it is a very like risk reward card, and I just really enjoy that kind of stuff. Sadistic Knight also has been a bit of a standout card. It's great removal, and against other control decks, sometimes even against aggro decks, when you have been able to keep them down, and you get to the 7 mana turn, being able to remove something and get a 6/6, even though that 6/6 is going to do 2 damage to you if you don't have 10 or less health. It's great. A lot of times, control is forced to remove it, and aggro is even forced to remove it, so it just wastes their time, and it's fantastic. For our 4s, we have Wardrobe Raider, because, I mean, this card is great in control. And then we have, for our 5s, we have Arrhenius. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. This is the newest card. A lot of lists I was looking at didn't have any 5-drops at all. I had thought that Goblin Mount Demon would be pretty good, but it makes sense not to run it because of there's actually quite a bit of Dire Bat generation in the deck for only having a few cards that do it. And Goblin Mount Demon does kind of just blow them all up. They were running Righteous Devil, I believe is the name of the card, the 2/4 that when Vengeance is active, you get Bane and Drain. But I wanted to at least have something to play on Vive. Her ability has ended up being very good in multiple situations. And what Warframe? Get out of here! I don't know if you guys can even see that, but Steam popped out with some Warframe thing. And even though I don't like the fact that it does 2 damage to a random follower, honestly, it's not too bad because we have so much removal spells. We have so many removal spells that the random doesn't usually come into effect. And if you're fighting an aggro deck, most of the stuff is so small anyways that she's just going to kill something, and that's all you really want is something to die. Queen Vampire, of course, for those warded forest bats. We have 2 copies of Blood Hungry Matriarch. This card I love because, again, coming from Magic, this is just like Massacre Worm. Almost completely. Massacre Worm, I believe, is a 6/5 instead of a 4/5, but almost the same exact text. It's enter the battlefield effect is all minions get -2, enemy minions get -2/-2, but since in this game your opponent can't declare blockers, it's not as big a deal. But other than that, it's almost the same exact card, and it's 1 more mana. But fantastic card, I love it. Because of Blood Hungry Matriarch alone, I feel like the deck's matchup against Forestcraft is pretty dang good, especially if you get both of them. I killed a Forestcraft from almost full health by just playing a Matriarch and exploding her fairies, and then on the next turn played my second Matriarch, and then she took 2 damage per fairy, and it was amazing. Just 1 Lucifer. There is an argument for cutting 1 Odin for Lucifer, because I did see a few lists, quite a few lists only ran 2 Odins and then ran 2 Lucifers, and that might very well be a change I eventually make. But I'm really getting use out of the triple Odin. I have been running into Seraph Havencraft, and the Odins have been useful because I really need to draw multiple Odin. And also, against late game decks, instead of running like Call of Cocytus, you know, it's good for banishing those 13/13s. It hits Bahamut. It hits wards or anything like Mordecai, anything that has the last words. I just feel like Odin is really good to hold on to right now. We got the triple Revelation, because 8 mana for a board wipe honestly isn't too bad, and quite often you'll be casting it for 4. Dark Angel Olivia. This is a card that most decks seem to have omitted, but I just personally I can't not get the value from Olivia. I feel like it's very necessary. And then rounding out the deck, we have 2 Temptress Vampires and 2 copies of Bahamut. Temptress Vampire ended up being one of the big cards that I was missing. I didn't have her in the original deck because I just saw 9 mana 5/5 and kind of overlooked the significance of her ability until I added her and then played a couple more games on Unranked. They were almost all against Runecraft. 2 of them were, I think it was exactly 2 of them were D-Shift, and 2 of them were the Daria. And Temptress Vampire really helped hardcore. And I was like, you know what? I'm convinced. In the deck. So let's go ahead and do a couple ladder games with the deck. I'm still learning how to play it, so if I make any cringe-worthy mistakes, I do apologize. Any advice on how to play Control Bloodcraft from any viewers who might already have been trying Control Bloodcraft lists, I would much appreciate. Yeah, let's see what we can do. Also, because there are so many ladies in the deck, I named it Harem Control because it just, I mean, come on. It's Bloodcraft. Also, we're rocking the Vania because who doesn't play Vania and with the Cerberus sleeves on it because it's Harem Control. I guess I will see you in the match. I feel like when I'm recording, I get this map specifically fairly often.
Time to get started. You must die.
Ooh, well, I know it's good to hold on to the 4-mana card to evolve on the first turn. And we're going second, so we're going to draw 2. Okay, getting Bahamut in our opening isn't too good. But hopefully, we hit some good stuff.
Hey there.
Go ahead and greet our opponent.
Charmed.
Okay, good. Alright, I'm feeling pretty confident now. We got a 2/3/4 removal spell. Bahamut just in case.
Leave this to me.
Veteran Linsar. No, I wonder, do I Vampire Kiss that? Or just play Unica? I think I just kiss it.
No,
because if this does end up being an aggro variant, or later in the game I get to a point where I want to start getting some health back in case of Albert, getting Unica behind a taunt or a ward would be very good. Yeah, okay, I'm glad I saved her, because this looks like it's going to be some type of lower, like a lower curve, semi-aggressive, if not just straight-up aggressive deck. This I wasn't expecting, the Ninja Trainee. I have not seen that, so I don't know if this is some kind of meme thing or just a card I wasn't expecting. Oh, Royal Banner, okay. That's what's going on. Luckily, the bat is going to be able to kill the ninja, as funny as that is to think about. End of the turn. Okay. I still think I play a Wardrobe Raider here.
Isn't demonic armor lovely?
She's basically going to be forced to deal with the Wardrobe Raider.
My beauty.
But I still have another one, so in the end it's not too bad for us. Ooh, really? Alright. Guess I'll just Wardrobe Raider again.
Demonic armor lovely? Go! Go! Try this on for become part of me. You're safe with me, Captain. You are done for. Away with ye, scurvy dog.
She's not a fan of me having a bat, it looks like.
Blast.
She's gonna let me keep the bat, though. Wonderful. What a card. Now, her ability will go through ambush, right?
Hey, check this out.
I'm assuming it will, because it's not a targeted ability. So this will be a bit of a learning experience. Hopefully I don't look like a big idiot right now. Okay, cool. Yes! Getting some value. Straight up to the Dance of Death, sure.
Has no end. Don't call me short.
Another ambush. I see what she's going for. It's pretty cute. Pretty cool thing. We'll just play these two. I don't want to use my last evolution right now. just to make this a... But it does give it drain. Alright. Crap. Yeah. Because I want to increase the odds that I have at least something left on the board that I can start getting health back with, just due to the fact that we're already going to be on 8 mana now, so Revelation doesn't need to cost 4, and since our opponent could go for a double attack with Albert to try to finish the game, I would rather not have to worry about the 10 damage combo. We very well still could lose. Swordcraft, I think, is our biggest weakness if we don't draw our Queen Vampires and stuff, purely due to the fact that they have all of the Storm available. Or I shouldn't say all the Storm, but all the burst through Albert specifically, which I was expecting her to be saving her last evolution for, but it looks like she's being forced to use it now, which is obviously good for me. Okay. This will just Revelation this turn. And then hopefully Odin her amulet if we don't Bahamut sooner. Oh, well, never mind. We'll just Odin that. So just Ignite. Ooh. Oh, it doesn't kill it though. Yeah, we'll just do this. And I really don't want to drop down to 10 health at this point in time. Looks like the one issue with Dire Bond as well is for now I really don't want to take the 6 damage.
At your service.
If I hit her, she goes down to 12, which means this is still going to trigger. Oh, Bahamut, here he comes. Now the question for me is, do we Bahamut the Bahamut or do we Odin the Bahamut? Because we just drew Unica, I'm going to go ahead and Odin it so that I can also play Unica. Bellring Angel, sure.
I'll lead the charge.
Nice, okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sadly, we're just a little off lethal.
Enjoy your death.
The god of war here reigns.
Now, honestly, I would risk Dire Bond here if she wasn't drawing 2 cards right now. Or, actually, no, actually looking back at it, it wouldn't be worth it because we're in such a winning position. There would be no reason. All right, cool. There would be no reason to risk potentially losing to some top deck by Dire Bonding at that point in time.
I did it. I won.
Awesome. That was a great match. Arrhenius really pulled her weight. I'm very much enjoying the inclusion of that card. Shadowcraft. All right. This is why we run 3 Odins. Now this particular deck does not appreciate going first, especially if we get a opening hand like that. Ooh, yeah, this is not looking good. That is the one risk with running these, in my opinion, very fun control decks, is that you can brick really hard sometimes with your mulligans. I mean, once we hit 4 mana, though, we're going to be fine. But we'll have to see. She does have the turn 1 play. Okay. Not horrible. At least now we have a 3-4-5. and most likely from being attacked and Sadistic Knight, we will indeed... All other ally followers in play... Whoops. What does that say? All other followers in play will be destroyed instead when being banished. Oh, that's fine. I think we just play Vite here.
Shed tears of joy, I've arrived.
Because I don't really want to play Wardrobe Raider on Curve, just because I want to make sure I get to evolve the Wardrobe Raider. But the issue being that Sadistic Knight against the 3-2 is basically going to be doing 4 damage to us.
Me?
But
Really?
not the bat did eat an attack for us, though. Vampiric Kiss, there we go. That's what I wanted. We're really just taking 1 damage from her now. And actually, if we play Aaron on this turn, we're potentially going to remove 2 things. There we go. Nice. I think I will actually play the Wardrobe Raider now.
Isn't demonic armor lovely?
Just to negate the 2 damage from this 3-2.
Try this on for size. Hey, that hurt. Become part of me.
And since we're getting so close to 7 mana now, I want to save Sadistic Knight for its enhance ability. With Bloodhungry Matriarch in our hand, I mean, we're looking really solid. Something I noticed with this deck is it seems to actually do pretty well even on a bad draw.
Let's get into trouble.
Summons a Ghosty Goo. Okay, we'll be able to kill that with Aaron. This is the only map that I ever like. The music is like right in the front of my mind. Ooh, such card. Much scary. Alright, well, this is where Sadistic Knight comes in.
Let's make this a night to remember.
So cold. So very, very cold.
Start threatening our opponent with a potential 8-8. And since we got Olivia in our hand, we're looking pretty good as well for going for the late game with our evolution value.
I'll show you.
Oh, this is why I like this card so much. Sometimes it's like it's like 1 for 3s, because now it's killed 2-3 cards. That is so good for us. I'm gonna Dire Bond now. I feel completely confident in doing this.
Tears of joy, I've arrived.
My opponent has basically showed me that unless they Odin this Dire Bond, I'm basically going to have... I'm not worried about anything now.
Me? Really?
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Oh, that was potentially very dangerous, but they are going to kill Unica.
Hey, that hurt.
Alright. So now we are 100% going to have to be paying attention to our life. Hopefully we hit a Lucifer here. Revelation. Sadistic Knight. Nothing that we really want to play. I guess we could just play Olivia. I want to save the Matriarch for potentially, and I'm going to go ahead and evolve her too, just to keep her safe from potential things. We have 2 more evolutions, so I'm not worried about it. And a 6/6 doesn't threaten our opponent more. Matriarch loves that card. Ooh, Soul Conversion, okay. That makes sense. Alright.
Let's get into trouble.
Nice. This is a good turn for us. And we do have an evolved follower in play.
Enjoy your death. You run, little. You're mean. You're mean. So many souls.
Oh man, I love this deck so much. It's so much fun to play.
I'm leaving.
There we go. Nice. Nice. Oh man. Man. Dude, I'm so amped. So I literally only slept like 4 hours last night before work because I was having so much fun playing this deck that I laid down in bed to go to sleep and I couldn't sleep because I just wanted to keep playing. I love this deck. So yeah, I'll do a proper deck tech on it pretty soon because that just, oh man, so much fun. It's so much fun. I mean, we had Temptress Vampire to get our health back up. Honestly, one of my favorite cards in this deck is Dire Bond. Like, even though compared to the other cards of the deck, it's a fairly boring card, just 3 mana, you know, you draw some cards, but it really, in my opinion, is one of those cards that kind of emphasize this. I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm trying to like toot my own horn. I mean, I've played competitive card games for like 10 years, but what I'm trying to say is Dire Bond, I think, is one of those high skill cards where, especially in a faster meta, if you're running into aggro decks, trying to figure out when you're safe enough to risk the 6 damage and all that really rewards you. And it's so satisfying to pull off a successful Dire Bond. I mean, it could have got Odin there, and that would have sucked really bad. That is very true. If Aggro Shadow runs Odin. I don't know Aggro Shadow's lists very well, but I've never seen an Odin come out of Aggro Shadow. But I feel like they probably do run it to get rid of, like, oh gosh, Veteran Warden? I don't know the name of the card. The 7 mana 4/5 that summons a 2/3 ward for Swordcraft. But, Vanguard Captain? I'm sorry, guys. I'm still learning the names of a lot of stuff. But, it's just such a cool card. It's Sadistic Knight. Almost always, if you cast for 7 mana, at least 2 for 1's your opponent. And when I play Control, I always try to design my decks where my opponent's health isn't my win condition, it's their hand size. And so I want to make it so that my opponent's hand size gets down to 1 or 2 cards, and then the deck just outvalues the crap out of them. And this deck does that, and it's so fun to play. It's so satisfying when it goes off correctly. And as you saw there, even if you draw bad, the deck has enough 2 and 3 drops that an opening hand being garbage, even against a fast or aggressive deck, oftentimes is not the end of the world, and you can come back because there's a surprising amount of healing in this deck for how much damage it also does to itself. An early version of this ran Bloody Mary, and I figured with Sadistic Knight and Dire Bond, and then of course the Beast Dominators that come from Sadistic Knight, that Bloody Mary had a lot of good potential. But she just got removed most of the time before she was useful. Or you specifically would hold her until you could cast a Dire Bond or something like that, which would be okay, but you really, at least with this version of Blood Control, but I feel like with all of them it's probably the same way, you really want stuff on the field. Blood is a control deck that definitely wants a lot of stuff out on the field, and it's loads of fun. I highly recommend, if you have the vials to make this. I shouldn't say that, because if someone makes it and they're not happy, I don't want to be the reason why you lost all your vials. But if you have enough cards to put one together, maybe use some placeholders for a few of them, or do your own twists. A lot of lists I saw weren't running Sadistic Knight. They were running the 5 mana called Drain or something, where it's like, yeah, 5 mana, destroy something, gain 2 health or something. I prefer Sadistic Knight hands down. I don't think the 2 damage is a big enough downside to not run the card. It's so much value. But yeah, I would highly recommend, if you're interested in Control, if you're interested in learning how to play Blood, that you give this list a shot that I've put together, or you do the same thing I did and look at some lists online after throwing one together yourself and tweak it to make it more viable, but while keeping your own little flavor. And I think you'll have a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed the ladder. I definitely did. The sun is coming up, and I should probably try to take a nap. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.